Hi, so I'm off for a run. It's Easter Saturday. I've spent all day on the coast, like in the sunshine, which you can tell because I've ever so slightly sunburnt, like just up here, because apparently I am incapable of A, wearing a hat, and B, putting sun cream like right there. So, well, that's bad. Still sporting this magnificent cut, which is really tiny, but like just makes me look like I've slipped with an eyebrow pencil, which isn't ideal. It's still really warm outside. It's about 6 o'clock, and I'm going to go for a 8 kilometre run because that is on the next run on the arbitrary marathon training plan that I'm following at the moment. So that should be really good. It kind of feels like summer is here, even though it's really hazy actually, which is kind of weird. But yes, so let's go. So today I wanted to talk about the things I wish I'd known when I started running. I've just signed up to my first marathon, which is in 5 months, maybe a little less than 5 months, maths, which is, I don't know, like, it's a bit scary, but it's not as scary as like I would have thought it would be, signing up to that. And it doesn't feel impossible. And a year ago, a couple of years ago, running a marathon would have just seemed like something I would never do. I would never be that person. Not because I didn't think I was capable of it, like with training. I don't know, it's weird. I just never really imagined I'd be able to, I suppose. But now I've signed up for one, and it just seems like the logical thing to do. I've never run that far, but I fully believe that I can. The idea of it doesn't freak me out. It's gonna be hard. I'm under no illusions. It's gonna be really hard, but it's gonna be doable, right? I started running maybe 3.5 years ago, and I was not a runner before at all. Like, I've always been quite active, but I've never been a runner. And I started running because I was in quite a difficult mental space. I was about 9 months sober at the time. Life was pretty good, but still I was just struggling a bit. And I started running, I don't know, I just thought I needed to do something for myself that challenged me, because when you live with a lot of anxiety, as I did then in particular, like, every day is a mental challenge, but you didn't get anything out of it. So I thought perhaps if I challenge myself physically, then I'd be getting my daily dose of like brain required challenge, but I'd be getting something for it, So I started running. Like, it took me a long time to get into running at a good pace, and that's the first thing I want to talk about. But in the intervening years, I've done triathlon, duathlon, a half marathon, a fell race, I've done a trail race, I've done 10Ks, 5Ks, I've done quite a lot, really, without having planned it, I guess. After the first year of really struggling with running, really trying, it just all sort of fell into place as I relaxed a bit more, got into trail running, which is not so much about the speed, but just about sort of distance and the pure joy of it. And obviously, look, this is trail running. There's so many birds, in fact all I can hear is the river down below in the valley and the birds and the trees. I mean, what more can you want? So the first thing that I wish I'd known, I wish I'd understood when I started running, is how to pace myself, because I could have done a lot more and enjoyed myself a lot more. I think in the early days especially, but even now I would have avoided quite a lot of injuries, all sorts of things. There are so many woodpeckers. So many woodpeckers. Yeah, so pacing yourself. When I started, I thought that running was running really fast. I thought that anything that wasn't running really fast was, I don't know, jogging? I'm not really sure. But I hadn't really run since I was in school, and obviously the only running you really do in school is sprinting. So I set out really fast all the time, had to stop, you know, every kind of 100 metres, couldn't understand why I was so awful at it. And then the first time I finished a 5k distance without stopping at all was because I'd got stuck on a narrow footpath behind another couple of runners, and they were running at a much slower pace than me. And so I just thought, well, I can't be bothered to go past them because it would be a bit awkward. And it was a bit narrow. So I just ran along behind, and my breathing evened out, my body stopped complaining, and I just ran that whole 5k. And I was like, oh, running isn't running really fast, it's running, it's about endurance, and it's running at a sustainable pace for you at whatever level you're at, which is nice. And since then, you know, suddenly after doing that 5k distance, which I ran quite a lot. Oh, hi horses. I ran that distance quite a lot. And then suddenly 6, 7, 8k seemed really manageable because, well, you just slow down. And then 10k suddenly was just 2 5ks, and onwards. And now I realise that pace is the most important thing. So if you're running a half marathon, you might be running at a slightly faster pace than you would if you were running a full marathon. If you're running a 5k, you'll be running at a faster pace than you would if you're running a 10k or half or whatever. It's all about pace. And for instance, now I'm walking because this is a really steep hill, and I've had a couple of injuries recently because maybe I'm a slow learner, but haven't been pacing myself very well, especially up hills. In this early days of like marathon base building, I'm walking, or like occasionally jogging, but mainly walking up steeper hills so that I don't piss off my Achilles and my IT band. I'm walking out of the valley now. So currently I just have short running stints up the hill. Oh, hi sheep. And I stop sometimes to look at Devon friends. Hello. You don't have any lambs? Oh, you do have lambs. There are lambs on the other side of the field. Oh my god, I saw a lamb yesterday, and it still had its umbilical cord. It was so tiny. It was so cute. So that's number one. I wish I'd learnt to pace myself. I wish I understood what that had meant and understood that it wasn't, I don't know, not running to run slowly or running at a pace that you can sustain the distance that you want to sustain. It doesn't matter what pace you run at as long as you can sustain it for the distance that you want to do. That's all you need to do. Like, amazing. So I'd wake up with a really bad headache from dehydration, particularly after I'd run in the evening, the afternoon, and then not drunk like a lot of water. You need to drink like a litre of water after running, at least. Doesn't matter how far you've run. No, I don't know, but I need to drink way more than I do. And now, so today I'm only running 8k, which doesn't really require a running vest, but I'm carrying water with me because I try to drink a little bit, you know, every sort of 5-10 minutes if I'm running anything longer than like 6k, where I wouldn't take a vest. But I find that if I drink quite regularly, then I feel a lot better, and I go through quite a lot of water actually, with just tiny little sips. Being dehydrated massively affects your performance and your recovery. And why would you work so hard running up massive hills like this? Look at the valley now. Why would you work so hard running and keeping fit if you're just going to undo it by not drinking enough? I mean, it's mental. It's silly. It's so silly. So that's number 3. I wish I'd realised how much water you lose when you're running. And we probably know that objectively, but you kind of have to feel it, I guess, to really take it seriously. So drink more water, do it, drink more water. Number 3. Oh, this hill does not end. Number 3 is running doesn't get easier. You just go faster. I think I thought my sister is a really accomplished runner. Like, she's fantastic. She probably doesn't watch this, so it's fine for me to say. But she's amazing. And she's amazing for lots of reasons. I didn't just look in case she was behind me. That would be weird. Although, no, she's in France. She's amazing for lots of reasons. Like, she works really hard at it. I don't know, she has got the right attitude. She has the right attitude to it, for sure. And she's really modest. Like, if I was as good as her, you would know about it. But she's wonderful, and she's really supportive, and she's just an inspiration. I feel really lucky to have a sister like that. Anyway, so I thought, she makes it look really easy. Check these guys out. Whoa, you're some big bulls. God, you're really big, actually. Never been down here, so this is going to be exciting. Okay, so she makes running look really easy. And all runners do, really, don't they? Like, when you see someone who's just a good runner, they make it look so easy. And so when you're not a very good runner, when you're a beginner runner, let's say, because they're like good and bad, like what does that even mean? When you're new to running, it's so hard that you think, oh, one day I'll find it easy, because those people over there who are gliding along at the top of at the front of the race, they look really comfortable, and so it'll be really easy for me if I persevere. Yeah, I don't think that happens. I mean, I haven't reached that stage, so maybe it does, but I don't think it does. Running is always hard, and obviously if you are trying to win a race, you are running as fast and as hard as you possibly can. So even though they're going really fast and they look pretty comfortable, like, those people are finding it extremely difficult too. They're going at their top speed, so of course they're finding it really difficult. And that's what I didn't realise. Like, a few years ago, the idea of me having run a half marathon and not being freaked out about it, just like, come on, I'm just going to run a half marathon, why not? I would have thought, wow, by the time I get to that stage, I'll be really good, it'll be really easy for me, which is crazy when you think about it. Look how pretty this is. Of course that's nonsense. Otherwise, people at the Olympics would be finding it easy. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The better you get, the easier it doesn't get. But what does get easier is the knowledge that you can do it. So, for instance, I'm doing about 8k today, and I'm taking it really easy because, like I said, I'm recovering from an injury and I'm base building. But even if I was just like running the whole time and like kind of going for it, I wouldn't be worried about running 8k. Because, like, I know I can do it, and I know I can run a half marathon distance. I know I can do these things, and they're still really hard, and they're only going to get harder, really, because I'm only going to want to go faster. It doesn't get easier, but the anxiety about whether you can do it falls away. This is a very uneven path and I'm kind of blinded by the sun. That anxiety, that, oh, can't I do it, that goes away. Because at the end of the day, you can just walk if you need to. So that has really helped me do pretty much everything, including like duathlon and stuff, and triathlon. Like, of course you can do it, even if it's the hardest thing you've ever done. So I think I wish I'd known that, really. I wish I'd known that I wasn't a failure when I was running some races. I just found so hard, and I was like, I've been running for a few years now, why isn't this any easier? But obviously I'm running like much further than I did a few years ago, much faster. So no, it doesn't get any easier, but it does get faster, it gets more fun, it gets less stressful. In fact, it completely eradicates my stress. I love running, even when it's really hard. I always feel better after a run, or during a run, halfway through, and I'm like loving life. So yeah, that is truth number, I don't know, 3 are we on? Doesn't get easier, but it's still great. It gets better, actually, it gets better. Look at this, really cool. Is this a holloway? I think this is a holloway. Okay, number 4. It's a bit windy here, so I don't know how well this is going to go. Yeah, so I sort of got away with this because I do quite a lot of cycling, and last year I was doing quite a lot of swimming, and I will again because the pool near my house, like 2 minutes from my house, opens in 3 weeks' time. Yes! I'm like ludicrously excited. It's my partner's birthday the day before, and I'm like, hey, when's your birthday? How many days? Because that's how many days there are to the pool opens, +1. I mean, makes it sound like he's counting down to his birthday. He's not. Anyway, oh, look at this cottage. Devon is so pretty. This is silly. Okay, so if you want to be a good runner, you can't just run. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. You need to be strong and get stronger, because running uses a lot of different muscles, and especially when you start trail running, there's even more muscles and they move in different ways. You need to be strong, stable, dynamic. Your core needs to be strong. You need to be flexible, all sorts of things. And if you're not, if you're like me and you work sitting down, especially like 8 hours a day sat down at your desk, there's a lot of muscles that stay or get and stay quite weak. And a lot of problems I've discovered are if you have weak glute muscles. That's not fun. Everyone I talk to about it, they're like, oh yeah, me too. All my injuries from running are from weak glutes. So, if you want to be a strong runner who keeps getting better and doesn't have to take off a load of time for injuries, cross train, do strength training, go swimming, lift weights. You know, there are tons of stuff, you can look it up. You don't need me, and I can't tell you anyway because I don't know what I'm talking about. Not really. All the sun's behind me, so filming is going to be a challenge. But yeah, this is better. Cross train, strength train, and you will be stronger and a better runner and a faster runner and a more stable runner. Okay, number 5, because 5's a good number. Dress for the second mile or second kilometre, whatever. Look at this. Ooh, that's stormy news for you, and no one's going to clear it up. Dress for the second unit of distance. That is the temperature that you want to be considering, which makes getting out the door really unpleasant And so many people really struggle getting out because it's cold and it's not very fun, but it just is. You can't make it any better. Going from sitting down in your lovely comfortable house to running is hard. It's a hard transition. I don't think that gets any easier either, especially in the winter when it's cold or, you know, whatever. Dress appropriately. Today it's, I don't know, 16 degrees, and I'm in a crop top, I'm in shorts. I'm too hot. I wear this for the sun, not for warmth, but it doubles up as lots of things. So yes, dress for the second mile. I still get this wrong. My sister still gets this wrong. She's been running for years. You have to force yourself to go out dressed in not enough clothing to go out in, but definitely enough clothing to be running in once you get your body temperature up. Obviously this depends. If you're going out for a really slow jog, then you need to dress more warm because you're not going to be sweating and your temperature's not going to rise as much. But if you're going out for, you know, a decent training run or whatever, you will be. Don't wear too much. Can't tell you how beautiful it is here. Spring here is just magnificent. It really is. There are so many flowers, primroses, bluebells, there are birds. It's so lush and green, the river's so chortly. Okay, number 6 of the things I wish I had known when I started running. This is a really funny one actually, and I still find it a little bit difficult. But basically, when I started running, because I thought that runners all went really fast all the time, I thought that people would see me running at my pace or slowly or whatever I was doing and like judge me because apparently I care more about what other people think than myself, which is silly, but I know that lots of people do that too. But aside from learning to pace and learning what makes me a better runner, i.e. pacing myself, doing different types of runs, whatever, science is, like even the elite runners, they're not sprinting everywhere. Mo Farah is not just like doing his training runs at Mo Farah pace, like Mo Farah race pace. No. I really learnt this doing triathlon zone 2 training, which is hard to describe, but basically you want to do a lot of your training in zone 2, which is like, let's say there are 5 heart rate zones. Zone 2 is really low, so you want to keep your heart rate really low to build endurance. And obviously to do that you have to run quite fast. Like now I'm not actually wearing my heart rate monitor, but my heart rate is probably in zone 3 to 4. So zone 2 training is literally, for me, it's running quite slowly. Even the world's best triathletes and runners are running a lot of their training runs and endurance runs very slowly indeed. Much more slowly than a lot of totally regular runners could run a 5k, perhaps. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're running really slowly like I am right now, and you're worried, or it stops you from running at all because you think that if you run really slowly people will judge you and think you're not a very good runner, for all I know, you might be an elite runner doing zone 2 training. And when you see someone running, jogging along, they might be an elite athlete doing zone 2 training. They might just be out on an easy run. They might be on a recovery run. Nobody knows. Sonny, you blinding the camera. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But also, more importantly, nobody cares. I think that is a thing, especially with anxiety, but we all think that people care what we're doing so much, and they don't. People on the street aren't like, oh my god, look at that person, they're running so slowly. My grandma could run faster than that. No. No one is thinking that. Running has given me a lot of things. It's given me a lot of self-confidence because I do hard things now for fun, by myself. for nothing apart from my own delight, and it's great. I feel really proud of myself and everything I've achieved in running, but it's also helped me to stop caring what my brain is telling me that other people are thinking. Like, if it hadn't helped me with that, I certainly wouldn't be making these videos when I'm like sweaty and gross and out of breath and like sniffing, and I mean, it's not a great look, is it? Let's face it. But it's not I don't care what you think, it's that I don't care what my brain tells me that you think, because it's probably a lie. So this run takes me past the golf course, and that was the 4th hole that I ran past, and I had a thwack of a golf ball, and I'm meeting my partner at the golf course because he was playing golf at the moment. Yeah, so my partner's playing golf at the moment, and I just had this thwack of a golf ball, and I was like, I bet that's him. And so like I went through the hedge, I was like, alright! And he's just on the 4th. So I'm just going to go run up to the golf course car park, get my clothes out the car, and then go walk up and meet him, and then have a cool down walk, sorry about the sun, with him around the rest of the 9 holes. Not 9 holes, there'll be, what, by the time I get there, with about 4 left. No, there won't. Yeah, 3 or 4 left. So yeah, it's a good way to cool down after a run, and it's so beautiful, and there's never anyone else up there, weirdly, at this time, even though it's really nice. I think he'll be the only person playing. So what was the tip I just said? Oh yeah, don't care what other people think when you run. No one knows what you're doing, only you know that. Run for you, because that's all that matters. Yeah, I'll wrap this up when I'm not running along an A road. Bye! Okay, so those are some of the things that I wish I'd known when I started running. Would have saved me a lot of pain, discomfort, being overdressed, wondering why I wasn't finding it any easier. Hello, duck. Oh my god, ducklings. Oh my god. They are so tiny. What a perfect way to finish a run. Oh my god, they're so cute. They're the first ones I've seen this year. Oh, that's amazing. Love it. Okay, where are we? Yes, so those are the things I wish I'd known before I started running. But I'm going to finish this off quickly by saying you can do it, and you're allowed to do it. It sounds weird, but a lot of people are like, I'm not good enough to run. I mean, come on, that's silly. You're never going to be good enough unless you run. Running can be jogging, like right now I'm probably going like 2 miles an hour up this little incline. But I ran before to prove something to myself. And now I run because I love it. I love the fact that I can. Doesn't matter how slow or how fast I go. I just love it. It makes me feel good. It makes me proud of myself. And it's just a great feeling. Because it's hard, and it's always hard. So every single run you go out on, especially the ones that you didn't really want to do, you've done it. You did the hard thing. And if you can do the hard thing by yourself, you know, before you go to work or after you finish work or whatever, if you can do that, like, what can't you do? Like, tell me that. So please don't let any of these things stop you from doing it, because it's just your brain stopping you. It's not the truth.